Good morning, everyone. Today we're in my kitchen and we are going to learn how to make some Play-Doh. But first we need to look up a recipe to see all the ingredients we need to get out. Here's the recipe I found on Pinterest. It says it'll take about 5 minutes to make. Here's all the ingredients we'll need. And here is scrolling through the steps that we'll need to take. I'll show you how to do these later in the video. I cook a lot at my house, so I had all of these ingredients here. But my recipe said we needed flour, food coloring to make it different colors, cream of tartar, oil, and salt. When you're cooking, it's really important to read the ingredients that you need and collect them all together so that it goes a little faster. And it's also really important to measure for things like this because making Play-Doh on the stove is like science and we need all the right ingredients for it to work out. So I'm going to measure all my dry ingredients because that's the first step of the recipe. It says, in a large bowl, combine all of your dry ingredients, flour, salt, cream of tartar, and mix well. It says get 1 cup of flour. So I'm going to look through my measuring cups and find the one that says 1 cup. We'll scoop out 1 cup of flour. Whoa. Shake it off just a little bit and dump it in the bowl. The recipe also says we need 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. You know it's teaspoon if it has a small t or if it says TSP. If it's a capital T, that means tablespoon, but this one is not tablespoons. We need to find a teaspoon. Teaspoons are a little bit smaller than a tablespoon. We need 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. It's important to measure your ingredients and make sure they're pretty flat because otherwise we will get too much and that might mess up our recipe. 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. This recipe says half a cup of salt. That's a lot of salt for a recipe. So this Play-Doh, since it has half a cup of salt in it, might taste a little salty. So we're not going to eat it. My salt I keep in a jar, but your salt might come in a blue container. I got out my measuring cup that says half a cup, and I'm pouring my salt into the measuring cup. Make sure you get it nice and even on the top. All right, I added all my ingredients that are dry or like a powder, so my flour is all done, my salt is all done, and my cream of tartar is all done. So I can put those away. I'm going to get a whisk out now so that I can mix this all together. This is what your recipe should look like once all your dry ingredients are mixed together. Now, on to the next step. The next step in the recipe told me to mix food coloring with my water first and then add vegetable oil. I need a cup of water, so I measured out a cup, 1 cup of my water. I'm going to pour it in the pan. And today, I'm going to use just a teeny tiny bit of red so it looks kind of pink when I'm all done. So I'll do maybe 1, 2 drops and we'll see how that turns out. And we will mix that all together. Since I don't want to make a lot of dishes, I'm going to use the same whisk to mix my color into my water. Now that that's all mixed together, I'm going to take my oil. We need 1 tablespoon of oil. I have a tablespoon measurer that's small like this, but yours might look like a spoon. So your tablespoon is usually your biggest spoon in your measuring set that you have. That's a tablespoon. I'm going to use my small cup measurer for my tablespoon. Pour in a tablespoon. I got a little bit too much, so I'm going to pour a little bit back. Because remember, it's very important to measure correctly when you're doing stuff like this because it's kind of like science, and if we get the mixture not quite right, it won't turn out the way we want it to. So it's important to follow the directions. All right. Now it says add the dry ingredients to your pot and mix well. So I'm going to go over and get my dry ingredient. I brought over my dry ingredients. I'm dumping them in. It says mix well, so I'm going to stir as I'm pouring. Here we go. It's looking a little pink. The next step tells me to cook over low to medium heat until the dough starts to form and become dry. So I'm going to turn my heater on, my gas on my stove, yours might be electric, to medium low. All right, now we're cooking with gas, literally. If you ever hear anyone say we're cooking with gas, that means we're really getting started. It's working. So we're going to keep mixing this until it starts to look like Play-Doh. I'll give you a look. It's still kind of liquidy, so I got to keep mixing and mixing. This could take a couple minutes, so be patient. You want to make sure you get all the way around the sides because there's fire underneath or it's really warm underneath. So you want to make sure nothing burns. Switch to a wooden spoon. Oh, it's starting to get kind of chunky. The recipe told me that when my Play-Doh started to form a ball, to take it off the heat. So that's what I've done. My Play-Doh looks like a little ball in there. It actually is starting to look like Play-Doh. This just came off the stove, so it is very hot, just like the stove is very hot. So we have to be careful when we take it out. My countertop is kind of like really hard, and it's really good on things that are warm. So I'm just going to dump my Play-Doh right out onto the counter. And I'm going to start to knead it. It's a little toasty, so you got to be careful. This one you might want to have your mom or dad or a grown-up help you with just to start until it gets cool enough for your hands. This is called kneading when you push the dough like this. And kneading actually helps make your Play-Doh nice and soft. So you want to knead it. The recipe says for about 5 minutes after your Play-Doh's all done. And that way you'll have nice, soft, and squishy Play-Doh. All right, I finished kneading my Play-Doh. It is all done. This Play-Doh recipe used cooking. So there's some other Play-Doh recipes that you could do at home that have no cooking, and I will share those with you in the comments, just in case you don't have all these ingredients. I like to cook a lot, so I had all these ingredients and I didn't have to go buy them. So I will post some other Play-Doh recipes so you don't have to go buy ingredients either. I hope you guys have fun. Bye!